What is up, everybody? We are back, but this time I'm joined by Mr. Chris Stonadge for an immediate match reaction to Liverpool's 2-0 victory over Leicester at Anfield. Before I get stuck into the chat and before I ask Chris for his opinion as he's trying to come through the camera in front of me, I believe there, Chris. Trying to get sorted out. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, of course, the all-conquering fantastic OneFootball app. You don't need me to give you the spiel on OneFootball. You know about them. They're the best in the business. Link is in the description below. Great supporters of us, great supporters of football fan content, and we thank them very much. Chris, my man, Diogo JOTA, huh? He's a bit of a player, isn't he?
Mate, there's a lot of them in there who we could say exactly the same about. JOTA just put the 2 goals in, but blimey, isn't he? He's just fantastic. I just adore the man. He got such a poacher's instinct, and both of those goals provided that. I mean, he was fantastic, mate. Honestly, I'm so happy with that win. The way we were so professional about it. The whole team, I thought, were excellent. There was Leicester hardly had a sniff. Really buzzing with that.
It's not very often we've been able to say this, Chris, as Liverpool fans, but that bench today, mate.
Wasn't it just magnificent, mate? Like, we had Harvey Elliott to bring on to start off with, who is just creative. You had Mo Salah, who is one of the best players, if not the best player in the world. You got Konate, you've got James Milner. I was convinced Milner was going to be the first sub, but you had a load of different. You had obviously Elliott and Keita as well on the bench. So many options. We're used to seeing Minamino as the first sub, or maybe even Ox. But when you've got Harvey Elliott there as a sub, the depth in this midfield is the best we've seen it. And the depth in this squad is the best we've seen it.
And the midfield's only going to get stronger in the summer by the sounds of it, mate. Are you rocking a Deportivo La Coruña or a Porto shirt there?
La Coruña, mate.
I thought maybe you were giving a little homage to Luis Diaz there today.
I do need a Porto shirt, to be fair. Do need a Porto shirt.
I need a new Colombian one. I have an older one, but I need a new one. Can we get a little word, actually, Chris? Actually, before we do that, just bring the super chat up from Rabadan. Liverpool win and still somewhat in the title race. Arsenal win, thus pushing the evil ones further from top 4. Yeah, well done to Arsenal, and not an easy place to go, Molyneux tonight. So fair play to them and getting a result. But Chris, I mean, Luis Diaz. I mean, what can we say other than we're going to have some fun watching this dude play football?
Mate, the biggest compliment I can give Luis Diaz is that he's come into this Liverpool team in the 110 minutes that he's played, and he's not looked out of place. He looks like he's been there for years. And that's the biggest compliment I can give, mate. He should have scored tonight. I'm not going to lie. He probably should have scored, but he had 5 or 6 chances, and that in itself is very, very good going. I'm so happy with him. He's just. It's frustrating that we haven't gone for him before, to be honest with you, and had more of an option. But yeah, it's amazing. I love it.
I can't believe when we were first linked with him, I was kind of, I'm not sure. You know, it's okay doing it in Portugal, but Jesus, watching him straight, there's no doubts left. I mean, for the signings, Chris, so we brought in 2 25-year-olds. JOTA was a little bit younger when we brought him in, but to be that next generation of attacker, if you want, and wow. I mean, the recruitment team, again, I mean, build them all statues. It's just unbelievable, mate. We don't get transfers wrong. We just don't.
There might not be enough of them, mate, but we don't get them wrong when we do them. And that's why fans get frustrated, is the fact that because they get them right so often, they want more. But the fact is, the extensive recruitment process that goes into getting a player like Diaz for the money that we got him for, by the way, which is a lot cheaper than everyone was expecting.
Shout out to Spurs for that. Thank you.
Cheers, Spurs, for negotiating. It's a bit poor old Spurs. They paid for Willian's flight, and they even negotiate Diaz's deal for us. Bless them. But yeah, what a player he's looking, mate. Honestly, I couldn't speak higher enough of the recruitment team at Liverpool. But he's just looking so good. Oh, so happy.
He is, and you know what? I'm all for it, mate. I'm all for the positivity. And look, we got to keep push on and see out this season and get some silverware. But I was happy to see Matip back tonight, because I think he was a bit slack in his passing, but I certainly seen a more solid defensive display from Joel today than previous games. I thought his last 2 starts, he wasn't up to his own brilliant high standards, but himself and Verge today, particularly Verge, he was positionally just sublime. But yeah, good to have them back today, and another clean sheet will do us no harm.
Oh, and looking at Virgil at the end of the game when we nearly conceded, or well, he didn't really nearly concede, but he had to do some defending. He was fuming, wasn't he? He was absolutely fuming with the I think it was Trent on that side. And yeah, Virgil, we just get used to it, don't we? And Joel, I thought Joel was really good. I was advocating Konate to start, but maybe he will start against Burnley, but Joel Matip is Joel Matip. You know, we can't forget how good he is, and he got an assist tonight.
And I can't let it go as well, Chris, without saying that you got your prediction spot on. You went with 2-0.
I did. See, I did. Hire me, everyone. That in company.
I felt for Mo, mate, when that ball left his foot, that the curler. I thought, first of all, when he started this way too far wide, and then it kept swinging in and in and in. And there's a great angle behind the goal. Schmeichel wasn't even close to it. He was so unlucky, Mo.
If that goes in, we say this about a lot of Mo Salah goals. This is the best goal Mo Salah will ever score. But the amount of curve on that ball, that I was going to ask you if you'd seen that behind the goal angle. It was just breathtaking. Mo Salah. This is a man who is angry. Again, another man who probably could have scored tonight. That 1-on-1, I think he probably should have scored, or at least squared to Jota. But yeah, a good save by Schmeichel. But look, this is just huge positivity coming out of Liverpool tonight. And the fact that it's professional, the fact that Leicester didn't have a sniff, I'm so happy. Again,
we can't talk about the goals and all the play without talking about Joe Matip's cheeky little toe poke nutmeg pass to Jota for the second.
Can guarantee that is on no context Joel Matip as we speak. Incredible. And there was one in the first half, I was tempted to film it, where he just fumed after a foul he gave away, and he did some random little strop, which was so funny. I just laugh at him, mate. He's just a very likable, naturally funny person. And yeah, can't ignore that nutmeg, can we?
It's going to be so difficult now for Jurgen Klopp and for us, I suppose, as fans, to try and figure out who the best three are going to be in attack going forward. I mean, I think we're all in agreement. Certainly we were in the first match reaction I did, that Jota is the central player now. He is the one through the centre ahead of Firmino at this moment in time. After that, Salah on the right, but Diaz, Mane, what an option. What a set of options for Klopp.
I think we can't ignore, and we have to realise that Diaz has been here for 2 games. He's had 2 games at Anfield against Cardiff and Leicester. Like, Leicester are a good side. Cardiff obviously provide a challenge. We've got to make sure that we temper our expectations a little bit. He might not hit the same heights in the bigger games where he's not given as much space, but we have to also admit that Sadio Mane has been incredible for us, and hopefully he's rejuvenated after AFCON. But I tell you what, mate, isn't it amazing to have such good options in that area? And let's cherish it, because I think we might only have it for 6 months.
It is a great one from Liz. Diaz got a standing ovation all around the stadium and a Klopp hug. Excellent form. Has to squeeze James Milner in there as well. Your AA family loves you as well, Liz. But yeah, I mean, if life couldn't get better for Diaz, he gets a Klopp hug as well. I mean, we can only wish, mate. But a difficult enough trip coming up now on Sunday, so the pressure's on. You know, we can't drop any points at this rate. But tonight, as you said, I think the word to sum it up was professional, because it was a thoroughly professional performance. Maybe we need to be a bit more clinical. Am I being fair there a bit? I don't think
you're being unfair at all, mate. But look, but not putting away our chances isn't the worst thing in the world, because we're creating the chances. On another day, we score 5 or 6 there, and it becomes an absolute rout. So and in some games we go and score all our chances, and then people are like, oh yeah, but we'll only fall down, and here we'll only go up. You know, this is a game where we could have turned it on if we really had to. If we had to win that game 4-0, I feel like we had to. But there were 7 points where we just took what's the word? Our foot off the gas a little bit when Leicester were coming forward, and we made sure we were just retaining possession. And that's what professional teams do. That is what the great Manchester United teams did. That's what the great Manchester City teams do when they're under pressure. And I think we did that very, very well.
I want to give a special mention to Kasper Schmeichel today, because apart from being a great goalkeeper, I loved that he was immediately signalled to the medical staff when Robbo collided with the pole. He's just a good lad, isn't he?
Yeah, he seems really sound, doesn't he? I think it said he played 150 consecutive games for Leicester on commentary in the Premier League, which is pretty unbelievable. at their club, and I think being the son of someone so prominent in the sport, he's gone, and maybe he's not outdone him. Of course he hasn't, but he's really made a respectable career for himself. And people will think about Casper as well as Peter when they hear the name Schmeichel, and that's a really, really good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I echo everything you've said there. Big fan of Kasper Schmeichel as a keeper and as a person. For us, though, mate, I mean, moving forward, I'm kind of glossing over the game, by the way, at the weekend against Burnley, because I think we'll get the win. I'm looking a little bit ahead to Inter Milan. You looking forward to that tie next week?
Oh, buzzing for it, mate. Absolutely buzzing for it. Champions League football, away. You know, I'm loving this. I'm loving all the Diaz love. It's incredible.
Yeah, I'm trying to get as many of the comments. So I'm not expecting you to reply to all of these, mate. Sorry, I'm just bringing them up because
it's okay. Yeah. No, I'm just loving it as well. I'm loving all the positivity in the comments. Hopefully, we can keep this up. By the way, but Inter Milan is going to be really, really exciting. A very, very good side, but they're also missing Bastoni as well as Barrea. So it's going to be. Hopefully, we are big favourites for that tie, but they're still a good side. So yeah, Champions League football, mate. It's just different gravy.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I cannot wait for it. I really can't. So, how are you feeling about the league now, Chris? Because I think if the only thing some of our fans really maybe aren't quite optimistic about is the chances of hauling in this Manchester City team. I think it's 9 points now with another game in hand. So let's say we win at Burnley, or we pull it back to the 6. We win our game against Leeds, whatever it is. Do you think we can do it, or will it all come down to the Etihad, to that game?
We can do it, but a lot of it goes down to Man City and how they do it. You know, I can't see them losing 2 games, to be honest with you, Craig. They're quite frightening.
I think they're having I don't want to say a wobble, but they're not as incisive, and they're not just batting teams away like they should be.
Maybe, but then people could say that about us.
I suppose of who was it they playing the other night to be 2-0?
Brentford,
yeah, sorry. And it took probably, well, it was a penalty, but it took a penalty to start the scoring for them. So I don't know. They're a team that can get a little bit frustrated, I think, if they're opening deluge, and they do really go at teams from the off. I mean, they often score first 5-6 minutes, but if it gets frustrating for them, this has been a history has shown that they can get a bit rattled.
Yeah, I do agree, and that's why it's still a little bit. You know, I'd say it's 20-80 whether we can do it or not, and a lot of it goes down to the way Man City deal with the rest of their fixtures, because they're in the driving seat, you know. But if they can catch a 12-point gap on us, we can catch a 12-point gap on them very easily. Of course we can.
I do agree with Natasha here, though. I think if we beat them at the Etihad, and we've won every game up until then, and nobody's dropped any more points, 3 points, it is on then, mate. To me, it is on. Like, I think certainly they're still favourites. I'm not trying to say anything different, but I'm starting to believe a little bit more. And I think I'm starting to believe a little bit more because of the squad depth now that we have, and just because of the sheer firepower more than anything else that we have. I mean, name me a better attacking 5 in world football. I mean, you could argue maybe, Bayern Munich have great young options in attacking areas as well, but I wouldn't swap our boys. I'm so happy with the group.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, to have the 5 players that we've got, and that's why I'm a little bit scared about the summer and who we're going to lose, but to have the 5 of them that we have for the next 6 months, we need to make the most of it. We're in 4 competitions, and there is a viable chance we win all 4, and I think there's a good chance we win at least 2. I'm erring on the side of caution with it, but yeah, I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing with this front line. I'm buzzing with this squad depth, and I'm really glad to see that the rest of the fan base is starting to see how good this Liverpool team are. We have to appreciate it, boys. We have to appreciate it.
I'm genuinely just racking my brain trying to figure out how one signing can do this. So, like,
it's not one signing.
Not just how it can do it. It seems to have shown the squad depth to be so much more. And look, yes, Harvey returned, and yes, the boys are coming back from the AFCON, but one signing and we're transformed almost. It is nuts, and it is beautiful, and long may it continue. And you spoke about being stacked in midfield. That's the area we're probably going to be going for in the summer as well. So it's only going to get better.
Oh, isn't it, mate? It's just going to... Oh, imagine if you had Jude Bellingham to this team. Oh, so
when did you see he was ordering the Gerrard boots as well?
Did he? He's twerking for us at this point, Craig. He really is. Oh, come on. This summer, if it happens this summer, I say we have to go win the league next season. With the squad as good as that, midfield as good as that, the depth in midfield, we'll still obviously maybe have Keita and Ox to go and Milner will go, but to add Jude Bellingham to that midfield, people were going mad at Curtis Jones starting, and he's a star boy in my opinion. Like I think he's got so far to go, but it's the fact that we had Elliott and Keita on the bench to bring on, plus Milner. It's depth, it's quality and depth that we've been calling for, and it's all come from the return of one man and the signing of another.
And we haven't even spoken yet about Cade Gordon, Muzielowski, Pitaluga, all these other young lads that are coming through. Tyler Morton, you like Sepp van den Berg's displays for Preston this season as well. And there is the league table. I'm going to squint here to read this. 9 points difference. City on 60, us on 51. Chelsea and West Ham. Nobody seems to want fourth place, Chris. Everyone's struggling for it.
If Man United get top four, it'll just show the absolute dispersion between everyone. The top three and everyone else, because Man United are bad, and if they get it, West Ham look pretty bad at the moment. They're in a really bad run of form. Arsenal have been very poor since the turn of the year. Tottenham have been very poor since the turn of the year. It's just who's going to get it, Craig? I think no sensible betting man would put money on anyone.
And again, some people in the chat reminded us as well, we haven't even brought Carvalho into this conversation either. Fabio Carvalho, who could well be added to the squad for next season. So get the tissues ready, I think, Chris. I think we're in for an exciting time.
Let's not forget Oxlade-Chamberlain either.
Yeah, we wish him the best wherever he moves at the end of the
season. I couldn't leave him out just because of the brand. I'm the Ox brand now. I want that signed shirt, Ox.
What a comeback, by the way, from Ralph Hasenhüttl's boys last night against Spurs. Wow. Some mad games yesterday. I want to just briefly touch on them because I covered the Villa Leeds game, which was a belter of a game. But Ralph Hasenhüttl's men absolutely putting Spurs to the sword there at their own gaff.
I know a lot of people tipped Southampton for relegation this season. Me being one of them. I thought that their signings were a little bit unambitious, but the fact that Armando Broja, where's he come from? The fact that Chelsea have got another so big talent on their hands. They got Livramento as well, who is on I think £5,000 a week, by the way, at Southampton. Wow, he is such a good young player, isn't he? Kyle Walker-Peters has found life there. James Ward-Prowse, he can say any words. All of a sudden they're looking like a really good contender for top 10. They're in 10th at the moment. And they're not that far away. They're only 6 points off Wolves in 8th. And I think they're 8 behind Spurs. But I don't think they'll get Europe. But I think they'll be contenders, Ralph Hasenhüttl's done a fantastic job there. He really, really has.
And then the Ev, God bless them, huh? Getting beaten by Newcastle and getting dragged down towards that dirty end of the table. I don't want to see them relegated, though, Chris. I'd love to see them finish, 17th? 17th to do me.
I love the rivalry, right? Don't get me wrong. I love the derby. The derby's great. But, mate, I would adore it if they were relegated. I'm not gonna
really? I don't know, man. I don't know. What are you saying, chat? Everton relegated or stay up? What would you prefer?
It would just be funny. I think, right, if we're talking 10 years ago, I'd love Everton to stay up because I think the fans are really respectful. I like Moyes. But
Did
now...
you say really respectful?
10 years ago.
Sorry.
This new generation of Everton fans just annoy me. They're just horrible little bastards. They think they're like going to do graffiti on the walls and the Hillsborough chants. Like, lads, you are a big part in recovering from Hillsborough for us, and we really appreciate that. But why do you have to mock it? Like, it's just ridiculous. So yeah, they can go down.
Seems to be a bit split in the chat. Yeah, some people vindictive and just want to go 2 foot and say go down. Am I right in saying that they're one of the only clubs not to have been relegated?
I'm pretty sure they might be the only one to ever be in the top flight, because there's a myth that Arsenal have never been relegated, but they have. I think Everton are one of, if not the only club to have never been relegated ever in their history. So it would be rather funny.
Again, I've asked this question before, but when does the pressure start to come on Brendan Rodgers at Leicester City? Because, he has been supported in the market. He has got a decent squad of players. Yes, I accept that he's had a horrendous luck with injuries. But ultimately, they're underperforming. And yeah, they had some half chances tonight, but I feel like we could have went through the gears again if needed be there tonight. And it was... they're so far away at the minute, Chris. It baffles me.
They are playing a Martin and Didi at defense in centre back. We all know what a missing centre back quartet or trio that are missing for them does to a club.
Vestergaard on the bench.
They're not fit though, and Vestergaard's bad. Vestergaard's really bad. I'm sorry, he is awful. He's got the turning circle of a lorry. I think I'd rather play James Maddison at centre back than play him there. He's awful. But yeah, I do think they need an overhaul in the summer. I think their squad depth isn't as quality as it should be. But I think he's got credit in the bank, Brendan. But it all depends on how they start next season.
I'm moving into the game against Burnley on Sunday. Do we think Sadio will be back in the starting 11 by then? I mean, I say rest him personally till the Champions League game, if I'm being really honest. Give him that bit of time to recover. But look, Burnley are fighting for their lives at the bottom as well. So what are you expecting, Turf Moor on Sunday?
I think it'll be tough. It's always tough going there. I think it's a myth as to how tough it is. It's not quite Stoke vibes. They're a little bit of a B-Tech Stoke, aren't they? But they're fighting for their lives. They played well against Man United the other night, even though they should have been battered. If we're all being honest with you, but United didn't put their chances away. I don't think Mane will play. I think he'll be on the bench straight away. Yeah, do hit the like button. I think he'll be on the bench. I think Bobby loves a goal against Burnley, so I think he will probably start with Jota and Mo. I'd expect and sprinkle Diaz in there at the end. But yeah, I think it'll be comfortable. If we don't beat Burnley, we don't deserve to be within any sort of stretch of the league title. So I think we'll win pretty. I think it'll be a very similar game to today, if I'm being honest with you.
One thing I will say is please don't play Thiago against Burnley. Not because I don't want them to play, because I want them to be protected. I want them to be ready for the Champions League game.
I think he will be rested. I think he will be. We've got that option, haven't we? I think Curtis didn't have his greatest game today, but he looked strong. And he's getting bigger as a player. We've seen it with Trent, how bulked up he is now. Curtis is starting to go through that phase, which is really, really good. I think he'll probably start again. I'd probably not even think about putting Naby there. No way. Because Naby against Burnley with I think one of my mates from football who I go with calls them the mutants. And I think they're very very vindicated in that view. So leave any injury prone players out of it. But I think he'll go Curtis. He might even play Milner with Fabinho. And that's fine with me. I honestly don't care. People get angry when Milner plays. Don't care.
Yeah, I'm okay with one of Milner and Henderson in the midfield.
Not both.
Not both. God, no.
No. Even since Milner first joined, I don't think Milner and Henderson's ever worked. Like, it's never really worked over a sustained period of time. So...
Yeah, it's difficult to look at the midfield and pick. We don't know what the situation will be with Hendo, obviously. Will he be back from the back injury that he has? If not, again, I would fully expect him to start into Giuseppe Meazza next Wednesday. No matter who's fit, I would expect the midfield to be probably Fabinho, Thiago, Henderson for that trip over to Italy, no matter what. And I say that wanting Elliott to play as many minutes as possible. But I tell you, I'd love somebody like Elliott for this game against Burnley, actually, because I think we need as many creative sparks in the final third, as many players that can, find a half yard of space, because they will sit back and defend, and we need to find ways to be creative to unlock that defense.
Yeah. And I think even when he came on today, he found so many nice little passes. Him and Diaz linked up really well, which I really like. Hopefully they can form a nice partnership. But that right-hand side of Trent, Elliott and Mo is to savour. We got a little taste of it at the start of this season. Hopefully, it can become a regular fixture. But he is the sort of player that could unlock a Burnley, and that's why I think Bobby does so well against Burnley, because he just drops in that gap between defence and midfield. He hasn't got much room, but when he does get a ball away, he usually causes trouble.
Who are you expecting to play alongside Van Dijk? Because I'm only saying this because we've played Thursday, we play Sunday, we play Wednesday. Can we see Matip play 3 games? And if we do need to put Canate in for one of them, which one?
You got to put Canate in for Burnley for me. I think if we have to play our absolutely strongest 11. I don't get me wrong. If Canate plays against Inter Milan, I don't mind. He's good enough, but I think if you stick him in against Burnley, Wout Weghorst is a fantastic striker. Okay, he's been scoring goals for fun in the Bundesliga for 5 years. He came in and really impressed the other day. So you got to pick that position carefully. I personally would go with Canate on Sunday and Matip on Wednesday, but Jurgen usually gets it right, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does usually get it right. And again, these are what I like to call first world problems, mate, because, selection headaches are something that I'm sure the manager will be more than happy to have in a positive way, rather than a lack of availability.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the selection headaches we were having last season were, shall we play James Milner at centre-back? And now we're having, shall we have one of our 2 world-class left wingers, one of our 3 world-class creative midfielders? Oh, who cares? It's fantastic. It's brilliant. It's just beautiful.
Yes, life is good, Chris. Life is good. I obviously didn't have any audio while watching that game today. A couple of comments again on the atmosphere or lack of tonight, apparently, in our chat. Again, I'm asking you because I haven't heard it back.
I'm always cautious of this because we have to be when you go to Anfield, the microphones are by the away fans. So I will say this, but when I've heard it today, it was really quiet in the first half. At the start of the second half, it was a little bit quiet. As soon as the second goal went in, it was bouncing. But yeah, it's a little bit of a concern. I don't know why people try and trump others, because going to Anfield is a tourist attraction. It is. At the end of the day, not everyone goes there to ramp up the singing. Not everyone goes there to chant with others and to drink, because I think drink does a thing with it.
That's only when you go, you big lager loucher.
Mate, listen, I am the one starting the chants in the Anfield Road. I'm actually taking my my girlfriend to the Norwich game, so that's going to be fun. She's going to experience that firsthand.
The cup game?
The league game next week.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's gonna be fun. So she's gonna experience it firsthand. But yeah, it's a tourist destination at the end of the day, Craig. Not everyone's gonna be there to chant along, but it's a mark of an away fans that has how good a fan base are. And Liverpool away fans are the best in the league, in my opinion. So yeah, we move, and it's gonna be like that. We're already coasting in that game. We're being professional, knocking the ball around easy as anything. It's good, and fans get excited. So I'm personally don't think it's that big of an issue.
We haven't spewed enough Virgil van Dijk propaganda for me since he's come back from injury, because he's been finding his way. But just today, every time I think, is he doing this because he hasn't got the pace? But I realise he's just taking up such good positions. Positionally, he reads 2-3 steps ahead of what's going to happen. And even if it's just to slow somebody down to allow people to get back in, he's so damn good, mate. He's so good.
Mate, people aren't talking enough. People are not talking enough about a man who was out for a year with an ACL injury. And he just walks back. And yes, he's not 100%, but he's 95% of the player he was. This man is alien. It's absolutely alien. It's not normal to be this good at football. His defensive awareness, the way he stepped forward for that offside against Iheanacho, he's got such amazing communication skills. He's a brilliant leader. He's got a beautiful trim. I bet he smells nice. There's nothing wrong about him, mate. He's just perfect in every way. I just love him.
We haven't even gotten into his diagonal passing that he makes look so easy as well.
People say we're crazy when we think he's one of the best defenders ever, mate. And yes, there's maybe a lack of sample time in that time, but just watch him play and you'll realize how good he is. He is so far above anything in the Premier League and probably the world. You put him in any team and he makes it 10 times better. We've seen it with this Liverpool team. As soon as he gets taken out, there's a distinct lack of leadership in that back line. We're much more open. You put him back in, and all of a sudden, there we go. There's so many different lack of chances now, and it's brilliant. It's just brilliant. He's so good. He's so good, and he's the best defender in definitely this decade, last decade in the Premier League and in the world.
I think we should take a breath for a second, realise how well the team and the squad have done since just before the lads went to the way of the AFCON all the way through to now. Obviously, progress in all the cup competitions, 2 league wins from 2 while the lads are away, back that up today with another league victory. I mean, Christoph, life is pretty damn good now being a Liverpool fan.
Do you remember, Craig? I'll take a trip down memory lane. Do you remember that Friday?
Memory lane or memory lane? Because I'm always up for memory lane.
I'll take you a trip down memory lane, Craig, and I'll say that Friday, I remember it because it went crazy on the transfer website that day. That AFCON was set to be cancelled, and we were all going crazy. We were all absolutely. We were all praying for it to be done. We all thought it would be the scourge of our season. Even in the games before, everyone was talking about Salah, Mane, Keita leaving, and it's the fact is it's Deportivo La Coruña, and the fact is these lads, this squad has proven how good it is because even without one of the best players in the world and one of the best wingers in the Premier League, we've coped easily. We haven't been beaten in 2022. Baldiola.
Hey, I love a bit of positive banter. All good. It's all good.
I love that. But yeah, it's just this squad's proven how good it is, isn't it? It really, really has.
It's I'm looking at Verds now being interviewed, big beam and smile on his face. I mean, life's just pretty good. Life is pretty good now. Everybody back from injury, pretty much. I know Hendo is a little back concern and Divok's working his way back, but yeah, this is the strongest we've been in God knows how long. And it's only going to get better as they gel.
I love these streams. I'm in such a good mood. It's so good. I just love all these comments. I mean, a friendly reminder that United paid 80 million for Maguire. We paid 70 million for 75 million for Virgil van Dijk. Like 75 million. By the way, how Maguire was 80 million, no one knows, but 75 million is a bargain. He's worth 200. I'm not even joking.
The fact that not one person has ever questioned that transfer fee since he's come in and performed like he has just tells you he's so good.
And even the fact that he has not caved under the pressure of that transfer fee either. Like that was a crazy amount. If you think about it, like even that time, 2017, 18, like we could have gone and got, say, Koulibaly for 40 instead of Virgil for 75, and we managed to. Jurgen picked his man and he got him, and I think that amount of comments. And Matip was free, Gomez was 2.5 million or whatever it was. Kanate's looking like an absolute bargain at 36 million. Like there's a lot worse players have been picked up for double that amount. So honestly, these players just keep growing year on year. Virgil, I think, doesn't get the credit he deserves for coming back after his injury as well, as I've said. Gomez, the same, even. Like, he hasn't obviously had a great start to this season, but everyone's just smiling. It's great, Craig. It's great. And let's just make sure that even if we have one defeat, we don't go down the spiral of thinking that everything's all over, because it definitely is not.
Little word on Felipe Coutinho before we finish up. He was exquisite last night. And look, I want to caveat by saying I don't want him back at Liverpool. I don't. But I want him to do well. And I want him to do well under Stevie G. But that turn and ball for Ramsey's first goal last night, oh my God, that was filth.
It was, wasn't it? Oh, by the way, Jacob Ramsey. What a player he is.
Yeah, what a talent.
He reminds me a little bit of like a better version of when Barkley came through at Everton, like a much better version. He's quick, he can finish, he can pick a pass, he's got everything about him. But with Coutinho, I share the same sentiments as you, Craig. I really want him to do well. I think he deserves a manager who is putting confidence in him, puts an arm around him, and I think he will he'll continue to thrive. Whether Aston Villa can get him permanently on wages as extortionate as they are, we don't know. But I hope they do get him permanently. I hope he stays there and becomes their talisman like he was for us.
Yeah, he's. I think he's going to give the Villa fans some very happy memories anyway over the next few months. Look, unfortunately, we got to leave it there, my friends, because I have to go and say hello to my family. I haven't seen them at all today. As always, I want to give a massive thank you to our sponsors, the OneFootball app. You can download the OneFootball app entirely free with a link in the description. I want to give a massive shout out to a very, very happy, smiley Mr. Chris Stonadge as well. Always good to see Chris smiling. Always good to see everyone happy.
Oh, well, aren't I smiling, Craig? I'm usually smiling. It's
That's
always
true.
a good day. It's always a good day here.
We're a very happy-go-lucky gentleman. Absolutely. Look, folks, enjoy it. Go off into the night, celebrate, spend some time with your loved ones, hug your family, do whatever you want to do. But remember, we're mustard. We're legit. We're on the way.
Do you know what we are, Craig? We're fucking massive.
Yes, we are, Chris. Yes, we are. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.